The world of professional wrestling is famous for kayfabe, that is, rivalries that only exist inside the ring. But in the case of Penta, El Chero Miedo, his intensity and meteoric rise have caused some real problems and conflicts outside the ring. Although Penta is generally respected for his professionalism, there are specific names with whom he has had documented tensions, as well as real fights backstage. Not even Penta has been able to stay out of this series, because real conflicts always come up. Well, that's why I'll stop talking now, and today I'll present to you 5 wrestlers who hate Penta, El Chero Miedo. Remember to comment who you would like to see in the next episodes of this series. Number 5. Flamita. The conflict between Penta, El Chero Miedo, and Flamita is one of the most talked about on the wrestling circuit, independent and from big companies like AAA, because it mixes a strong generational rivalry with personality clashes in the locker room. Many forget that Flamita was the second wrestler to use the name Octagon Jr. in AAA. During that time, Penta was already an established star. It is said that there was friction because Penta, being one of the locker room leaders, had a very strict way of guiding the newer wrestlers. Flamita, who was already an international star in Japan and the United States before that character, did not take that kind of authority well, feeling that his previous career was not being respected. In 2021, the tension exploded after a series of events where they shared a hotel. Flamita made some indirect statements, and some direct ones as well, about the ego of certain main event wrestlers who were blocking the way for other talents. In wrestling, when two wrestlers don't get along, you can tell by the stiffness of their strikes. Several analysts and fans noticed that their matches during that period were unusually violent, with moves that bordered on real strikes. Penta and his brother Rey Fenix had formed a very solid group, and in the wrestling world, this is sometimes seen as an exclusive, tight-knit clique that doesn't let anyone in except their own circle. Flamita, being a wrestler who defines himself as much more independent, clashed with the influence that the Lucha brothers had over the bookings. Penta has an old-school personality when it comes to locker room hierarchy. That is, he likes to demand absolute respect for the ranks, while Flamita represents a more modern and rebellious mindset. This naturally leads to a clash of ideologies. In recent interviews from 2025 or 2026, Flamita has preferred to focus on his solo career, but when asked about Penta, his answer is usually straightforward. He does his job, I do mine. But we're not friends, and if we fought again, it would only be for work. Number 4. Ilade Park. The conflict between Penta El Chero Miedo and Ilade Park is possibly the most realistic.
Peligroso de la lucha libre mexicana moderna.
It's not just a simple rivalry to sell tickets, it's a clash of hierarchy style.
Y orgullo legítimo que ha estado a punto de terminar en tragedias en el ring. Ilade Park se considera el patrón de la
independent wrestling and a guardian of the old school.
Penta representa a una generación que, aunque ha sido exitosa, no han sufrido lo que él sufrió para ganar su lugar. Por ejemplo, Ilade Park ha criticado públicamente que Penta utiliza
strong style or real strikes without, according to him, having enough experience in the ring. He sees it as a lack of respect for the veterans. Unlike other rivalries, here the strikes have gone from being professional to being real on multiple occasions. In several events, especially in promotions like Generacion 21, LA Park has hit Penta with chairs and objects in an excessively violent way, not to put on a show, but according to him, to put him in his place. There are reports from promoters confirming that both have had to be separated in the locker rooms. Park is known for his volatile temper, and Penta, with his motto of zero fear, is not someone who backs down from anyone, which creates an explosive mix. When Penta began to succeed in AEW and became the face of Mexico abroad, LA Park, who also had success in WCW, felt that the spotlight was moving away from the true essence of real Mexican wrestling. Park has even said in interviews that Penta is a product of marketing, and that if they faced each other in a real mask versus mask wager match with no script, Penta wouldn't last even 5 minutes. There have been events where the tension was so high that the referees were afraid to intervene. On one occasion, Park even hit an official for trying to stop his punishment of Penta, claiming that no one interferes when he's teaching a lesson. Although they have shared the ring recently, their relationship is one of armed peace. They respect each other enough to make money together, but the hatred is still there. LA Park has challenged Penta to a mask versus mask match on several occasions. But companies like AAA or independent promoters can rarely make it happen because both demand guarantees that would make the match almost impossible to hold legally. 3. Conan. Although Conan helped boost the Lucha Brothers' careers, their relationship has had hostile moments. Although Conan was the one who boosted Penta's career in the WWE and Lucha Underground, their relationship has gone through moments of real tension. Especially when Penta and his brother Rey Fénix decided to leave AAA to become independent, creating the name Penta L0M to avoid legal issues. Conan, as a creative in AAA, has publicly criticized certain decisions made by the Lucha Brothers on his podcast, and there was a period of estrangement where they threw indirect comments about loyalty and brand management. However, their relationship is usually a love-hate one, and they have worked together again on several occasions. 2. Humberto Carrillo. One of the most documented altercations happened in the independent scene in Mexico in 2016, specifically at the Naucalpan Arena. It all started during a 6-man tag match, where according to reports from the specialized press at the time, the match became rough. When the match ended, the adrenaline didn't wear off, and when they got to the locker room area, they exchanged real punches. Rey Fénix and other wrestlers on the card had to intervene immediately to separate them before the situation got worse, or someone ended up seriously injured. The arena management had to talk to the police to prevent the scandal from affecting the reputation of the event. Although the news was leaked almost immediately to wrestling gossip shows on YouTube, at the time it would become a big scandal on social media. Today, both of them work for WWE, but it's unknown if they've truly left that problem behind. 1. Cibernético, the main man of wrestling, has never been one to hold back his opinions. Cibernético has stated that wrestlers like Penta focus too much on acrobatics and Miedo and too little on the classic psychology of wrestling. And the truth is, Cibernético has shown real professional disdain for Penta, which has always created a hostile atmosphere whenever they're in the same arena. In wrestling, the line between reality and fiction is thin. Many of these rivalries are kept alive to sell tickets, but in the cases of Cibernético, Allied Park, and Flamita, sources close to the industry confirm that the dislike is real. Remember to let us know in the comments who you would like to see in the next episodes of this series.